Quick question. When someone asks, "How was your week?" do you suddenly forget your whole life?
And you say, good, even if your week was a comedy show with 0 breaks.
Today, you'll learn easy, natural answers that sound confident, not robotic.
And you'll learn how to turn a normal week into a great conversation in English.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English Time, where we learn real English through real conversations.
If you want to speak naturally and stop getting stuck in small talk, hit subscribe.
Today's topic is how to talk about your week in English, from simple to advanced.
We'll build vocabulary step by step, use short stories, and do pronunciation practice at the end.
Let's start with the most common question on Earth. How was your week?
The simplest answer is one word plus a small detail. Good, busy at work.
That's already natural. But we can make it better with a simple formula. Overall feeling, one highlight, one quick detail.
Like this. It was pretty good. I was busy, but I got a lot done.
Perfect. Short, clear, and human.
Now let's build the beginner vocabulary first. Good. Great. Okay. Not bad. Busy. Tiring. Stressful. Relaxing.
Let's practice with mini answers you can copy. It was good, nothing crazy.
It was okay. A little tiring, but fine.
It was great. I had a really good day on Wednesday.
It was not bad. I stayed busy, but I handled it.
It was stressful. I had a deadline.
It was relaxing. I finally rested.
Now the upgrade. Instead of only saying good, add a reason. It was good because...
This is one of the easiest ways to sound fluent. It was good because I finished a project.
It was tiring because I didn't sleep much.
It was stressful because I had too many errands.
It was relaxing because I took long walks.
Now let's do a real conversation. How was your week?
It was pretty good because I finally caught up on work.
Nice. What helped you catch up?
I stopped multitasking and focused on one task at a time.
That's a strong life lesson.
It felt almost suspicious, like I was doing something illegal.
Being organized feels illegal sometimes.
Here's another natural phrase. Overall, it was...
This sounds calm and confident. Overall, it was busy but productive.
Overall, it was a bit rough, but I learned a lot.
Overall, it was smooth. No drama.
Overall, it was hectic. Everything happened at once.
Now we go step by step into stronger vocabulary. Level 1 upgrade words. Productive. Smooth. Hectic. Quiet. Intense. Draining. Energizing. Fulfilling.
Let's explain each one simply. Productive means you got things done.
Smooth means no problems and no surprises.
Hectic means busy and chaotic, like you are running around.
Quiet means not much happened.
Intense means strong pressure or strong emotions.
Draining means it took your energy.
Energizing means it gave you energy.
Fulfilling means it felt meaningful.
Now we practice these in real sentences. My week was productive. I finished my report and cleaned my apartment.
My week was smooth. Everything went as planned.
My week was hectic. Meetings, calls, errands, and 0 free time.
My week was quiet. I stayed home and read.
My week was intense. I had a big presentation and a tough decision.
My week was draining. I solved problems all day, every day.
My week was energizing. I exercised more and felt better.
My week was fulfilling. I helped someone and felt proud. Now the fun part. People love asking follow-up questions. So you need follow-up answers.
Exactly. If someone says, "Oh, really?" you can keep going with one extra sentence.
Here are easy follow-up starters. The best part was... The hardest part was... One thing that surprised me was... The good news is... The bad news is...
Let's do examples. The best part was I finally finished a task I'd been avoiding.
The hardest part was staying focused.
One thing that surprised me was how fast the week went.
The good news is I handled everything.
The bad news is I barely slept.
Speaking of sleeping, let's teach a phrase learners love. I didn't get much sleep.
And another one that sounds even more natural. I didn't sleep well.
These two are very common when talking about a week.
Now we add time phrases to organize your week. At the beginning of the week, early this week, on Monday, midweek, later in the week, towards the end of the week, by Thursday, by Friday.
Time phrases make you sound clear and confident. It becomes a story, not random information. Let's build a simple weekly recap using 3 time phrases. Early this week, I felt tired because I slept late. Midweek, I caught up on work, so I felt relieved. Towards the end of the week, I relaxed and watched a movie.
That's excellent. Now it sounds like a real week. Here's a key grammar tip. When you talk about earlier days, use past tense. I was tired. I felt stressed.
And if you talk about right now, use present tense. I'm tired. I'm stressed.
So if it's Friday and you're talking about the whole week, past tense is your best friend.
Unless the feeling continues. Then you can say, I'm still tired.
Now the difference that makes you sound advanced. I was busy this week. I've been busy this week.
Both are correct, but they feel a bit different. I was busy this week feels finished and completed. I've been busy this week feels connected to now.
Like you're still in the middle of it, or it's still affecting you.
Exactly.
Let's do quick practice. I've been really busy this week, but I'm finally catching up.
I was really busy this week, so I didn't have much free time.
Both sound natural.
Now we add common idioms that people love in weekly conversations. I had a lot on my plate. That means you had many responsibilities.
I was swamped. That means extremely busy.
It was a roller coaster. That means ups and downs, emotions changing a lot.
It was smooth sailing. That means easy and without problems.
I hit a snag. That means a small problem stopped you.
Let's use them in context. I had a lot on my plate this week, so I felt tired.
I was swamped on Tuesday and Wednesday.
It was a roller coaster, but it ended well.
Honestly, the week was smooth sailing.
I hit a snag midweek, but I fixed it.
Great. These phrases make your English sound natural and real.
Now let's do the entertaining part. Storytelling.
This is where you turn a normal week into something interesting.
The secret is small details. A small problem. A small surprise. A small lesson.
Let's do the first story. Overall, my week was productive, but it started with chaos. Early this week, I woke up late and grabbed my phone immediately. I saw a message that said, "We need to talk." 2 minutes later, I was already imagining a disaster movie.
That message is always scary. It feels like your brain becomes a drama writer.
Exactly. I rushed to get ready, made coffee, and opened the message. And it said, "We need to talk about the cake."
The cake. Suddenly, it's not a disaster, it's a bakery.
It was about planning a birthday cake. I went from panic to relief in 5 seconds.
That's a weekly roller coaster in one sentence.
The lesson is simple. Don't panic until you know the full story.
Now a funny week story. This week was busy, but I had one moment that made me question reality.
That sounds promising.
Midweek, I decided to be responsible and meal prep for the week. I bought vegetables and said, this is the start of a new life.
That sentence always sounds dramatic, but relatable.
On one day, I cooked. On Tuesday, I cooked again. On Wednesday, I opened the fridge and stared at the vegetables. And I swear they looked back like, we know you're tired.
That's not vegetables. That's emotional pressure in green color.
Exactly. So I ordered food. But I added one tomato on the side. I called it balance.
That's a very modern definition of balance.
The lesson is also simple. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for better than last week.
That is actually a great sentence for weekly conversations. I'm trying to do better than last week.
It sounds honest and human.
Now let's teach the difference between 3 common words: busy, hectic, overwhelming.
Busy means you have many tasks. Hectic means many tasks plus chaos. Overwhelming means it feels too much mentally or emotionally.
Let's do examples that feel real. This week was busy. I had a lot of work to do.
This week was hectic. Meetings changed, calls came in, and I had no breaks.
This week was overwhelming. I had work pressure and personal responsibilities at the same time.
Perfect. Now we add but to create balance. It was busy, but I managed.
It was hectic, but I got through it.
It was overwhelming, but I asked for help.
That last one is powerful.
Let's practice get through it. It means survive a difficult time.
This week was hard, but I got through it.
Very common.
Now we move to conversation style. People often ask follow-up questions like these. What did you get up to? Anything new? How's everything going?
Let's answer them naturally. What did you get up to?
Not much, honestly. I worked, ran errands, and tried to rest.
Anything new?
Nothing major, but I'm building a new routine.
How's everything going?
Pretty good overall. I've been busy, but I'm doing okay.
Great. Now let's do role plays with different people. Friend, coworker, stranger.
Your answers change slightly depending on the situation. Let's start with a friend. How was your week?
Honestly, it was hectic. Work was non-stop.
That sounds exhausting. Did anything good happen?
Yeah, I finished a tough task, so I felt relieved.
Nice. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm resting like it's my full-time job.
That is the most relatable weekend plan.
Now with a coworker, keep it professional and calm. How was your week?
Pretty good, thanks. Busy, but productive. I made progress on my project.
Great to hear. Any challenges?
A few small issues midweek, but I worked them out.
Perfect.
Now with a stranger, keep it short and polite. How was your week?
Good, thanks. Pretty busy. How about you?
That's it. Simple and safe.
Now we add another skill. How to answer when your week was boring.
Boring weeks are normal, and English has natural ways to say it. It was pretty normal. Nothing special. Same old, same old. It was quiet.
Let's use them. It was pretty normal. Work, chores, and sleep.
Nothing special. I mostly stayed home.
Same old, same old. But honestly, that was kind of nice.
It was quiet. I needed a calm week. Now let's teach a very common phrase. I can't complain.
It means things are okay, even if they're not perfect.
My week was fine. I can't complain.
That's a natural, friendly answer. Now we level up again with ups and downs. It had ups and downs.
Meaning it had good and bad moments.
Let's practice it in context.
My week had ups and downs. I was stressed early on, but later it got better.
Great.
Now we build a weekly recap template that anyone can use. Sentence 1. Overall, my week was...
Sentence 2. Early this week, I...
Sentence 3. Midweek, so I felt...
Sentence 4. Towards the end of the week, I...
Sentence 5. All in all, it was a... week.
If you can do this, you can talk about your week confidently.
Let's do a full example with this template. Overall, my week was busy but satisfying. Early this week, I had a lot on my plate, so I felt stressed. Midweek, I finished a task I'd been avoiding, so I felt relieved. Towards the end of the week, I slowed down and rested more. All in all, it was a productive week.
That's excellent. Now, a full example with humor. Overall, my week was productive, but my brain was dramatic. Early this week, I decided to wake up early and be a new person. Midweek, I remembered I am the same person, just sleepy. Towards the end of the week, I accepted reality and drank more water. All in all, it was a good week, and I survived.
And I survived is a mood. Now let's teach some emotional vocabulary for weekly conversations. Relieved, frustrated, proud, disappointed, motivated, anxious.
Let's explain quickly. Relieved means stress leaves your body. Frustrated means you tried but something blocked you. Proud means you feel good about yourself. Disappointed means you expected more. Motivated means you want to work and improve. Anxious means nervous and worried.
Now we put them into a weekly story. Early this week, I felt anxious because I had a difficult conversation coming up. Then it went better than I expected, so I felt relieved. Midweek, I felt motivated and worked hard. Towards the end of the week, I felt proud because I stayed consistent.
Great. Now we teach two extremely useful verbs. To catch up, to fall behind.
Catch up means return to the right schedule. Fall behind means you are late on tasks.
Examples. I fell behind early this week, but I caught up by Friday.
Very natural. Let's add one more phrase. I ended up. It means something happened in the end, sometimes unexpectedly.
Example. I planned to rest, but I ended up working late.
Another one. I planned to cook, but I ended up ordering food.
That one sounds familiar. Now we do a longer, exciting role play. The week starts bad, improves, then ends with a surprise.
Like a mini movie. Overall, the week started rough. Early this week, I woke up tired and spilled coffee on my shirt. Not a little coffee. It looked like I fought a cappuccino and lost.
That's a strong visual.
Then I went outside and realized I forgot my keys. At that moment, I felt frustrated and honestly a little dramatic. I thought, is the universe testing me?
The universe loves a Monday.
Midweek, things improved. I fixed a problem at work and I got positive feedback. I felt proud and relieved. Towards the end of the week, I tried to relax. Then I got a message from a friend saying, guess what? I panicked again for 2 seconds. And the message was, I got you tickets for a show.
That's a perfect ending. All in all, the week had ups and downs, but it ended on a high note. Ended on a high note is a great phrase.
Let's teach that phrase clearly. It ended on a high note. It means the week ended with something good.
Another similar phrase. It started off rough, but it got better.
Very common in real conversations.
Now we create a toolbox of short weekly phrases. You can mix and match.
Ready.
I was swamped.
I was running on fumes.
That means you had very little energy.
I barely had time to breathe.
I needed a break.
I tried to stay on top of things.
That means you tried to keep everything under control.
I got a lot done.
I didn't get as much done as I wanted.
I had to juggle a few things.
That means manage several tasks at the same time.
Now, let's practice these phrases in a natural conversation. How was your week?
I was swamped, honestly. I barely had time to breathe.
That sounds intense. Did you manage to stay on top of things?
Mostly. I got a lot done, but I'm still catching up.
At least it sounds like you handled it.
I did, but I'm running on fumes.
Then this weekend is for rest.
Yes, I'm scheduling a nap like an important meeting.
That is peak adulthood.
Now we teach one more important skill: how to talk about your week without complaining too much.
This is very useful socially.
You can be honest, but balanced.
Use but and add one positive thing. It was stressful, but I learned a lot.
It was tiring, but I'm proud of what I did.
It was hectic, but it's getting better.
It was rough, but I'm okay now.
This makes you sound mature and calm.
Now we add a more advanced structure. One thing that stood out was...
That means one thing was memorable.
Example. One thing that stood out was a compliment I received.
Another example. One thing that stood out was how fast the week flew by.
Flew by means passed quickly.
Let's teach flew by with a quick explanation. The week flew by. It means you feel the week passed fast.
Great. Now we're going to do a weekly recap challenge inside the dialogue. You will hear 3 different weekly recaps.
Beginner, intermediate, advanced.
And all of them sound natural.
Beginner recap. My week was good. I was busy at work. I watched a movie on Thursday. It was fine overall.
Simple and correct. Intermediate recap. Overall, my week was pretty good. Early this week, I was stressed because I had a deadline. Midweek, I finished the work, so I felt relieved. Towards the end of the week, I relaxed and met a friend. All in all, it was a productive week.
Clear and organized. Advanced recap. Overall, the week was intense but fulfilling. At the beginning of the week, I had a lot on my plate and I felt anxious. Midweek, I hit a snag, but I worked through it, so I felt proud. Towards the end of the week, I slowed down, reflected, and recharged. All in all, it had ups and downs, but it ended on a high note.
That sounds very natural and confident. Now we do pronunciation practice.
And we keep it slow and clear.
Repeat after this sentence. How was your week?
Repeat after this sentence. It was pretty good.
Repeat after this phrase. I had a lot on my plate.
Repeat after this phrase. It had ups and downs.
Repeat after this phrase. It ended on a high note.
Now a quick pronunciation tip with two similar words. Week, week.
Week is about time. Weak is about strength.
Repeat. This week.
Repeat. I feel weak.
Great. Now we do a fast, fun practice game.
You answer in one sentence, then add one detail.
Like a real conversation. How was your week?
It was productive, and I finally caught up on my tasks.
How was your week?
It was hectic, but the best part was finishing my project.
How was your week?
It had ups and downs, but it ended on a high note.
Great.
Now you ask the question, and I answer with a different style.
How was your week?
Honestly, I was swamped early on, but I got through it.
How was your week?
Not bad, a little tiring, but I can't complain.
How was your week?
It was quiet, and I actually needed that.
Perfect. Now we do the review section. Here are the key words again. Productive, hectic, draining, energizing, smooth, fulfilling.
And the key phrases. Overall, my week was early this week, midweek, towards the end of the week, all in all. It had ups and downs. I had a lot on my plate. I was swamped.
If you remember these, you can talk about your week anytime.
Now the homework and the community challenge.
Write 5 sentences about your week using this structure. Overall, my week was because early this week, midweek, so I felt, towards the end of the week, all in all, it was a week.
Then post your weekly recap in the comments. Keep it short, 3 to 5 lines.
Use at least one of these phrases. It had ups and downs. I had a lot on my plate. It ended on a high note. I can't complain.
Thanks for listening to today's episode on English Time.
Now you can answer, how was your week, without phrasing.
If this helped you, like the video and subscribe for more practical English.
And tell us in the comments, in English, how was your week?
See you in the next episode.